exceeding the speed required by the Navy for the aircraft. It became a great training aircraft for the Navy as well as the A-4 Skyhawk. And I think we've even got one in the petting zoo out here. So let's keep our eyes on the Skyhawk as it's on the roll. Listen, we go from propellers back to jets. Pilot and safety officer. He's got over 14,500 hours flying the airplane. The Douglas A-4 Skyhawk was a post-Korean War fighter designed after 1953 for U.S. Which was intended to be operated from aircraft carriers. The Navy needed a jet-powered replacement for the Sky Raider. Well, the Skyhawk was successfully used by both the United States Navy and the United States Marine Corps, with the first model entering service in October of 1956. Here comes a photo pass. Steve Kirik and the Skyhawk. Nicknamed kind of its hot rod, it also had a nickname of Scooter. The Skyhawks were the Navy's primary light bomber during the early years of the Vietnam War. A-4s carried out some of the first U.S. airstrikes of the war, and a Marine Skyhawk is believed to have dropped the last U.S. bombs on that country in 1973. Some of the notable A-4 pilots in the war were Vice Admiral James Stockdale and then Lieutenant Commander John McCain. The Skyhawk continued in service throughout the war. They lost 362. There's a belly up pass. It's a relatively quiet airplane, and it had a turbojet engine, a Pratt & Whitney J52 that generated just shy of 10,000 pounds of thrust. Compare that with a Hornet that has two General Electric F404 engines that generate 18,000 pounds of thrust each. There's a good triple roll. It could fly fast. 653 miles per hour. The initial climb rate of the Scooter, and maybe this is why it got the name Scooter, because it could climb initially at a rate of 8,000 feet per minute. That's about a mile and a half a minute for the initial climb rate. It could get up there and go with the best of them. That delta wing shape was really good for speed, but remarkably, it was a very maneuverable fighter as well. The wingspan is just 27 feet 6 inches. It's 40 feet long, and it had two 20-millimeter cannons in it and could carry about 8,000 pounds of ordnance on the outside of it. Well, they call them external stores, and you can see, like the tanks underneath, you can see some of the points at which weapons could be attached. 4-point hesitation roll, stopping every 90 degrees of rotation. These are some of the basic maneuvers that every student pilot needs to learn. Just shy of 3,000 Skyhawks were built. It remained in production until 1979. And military service of the Skyhawk ended with the U.S. military. It was in May of 2003. Now Steve Kirik coming around, and I'm not sure if he's going to land here or not. Let's take a look. It looks a little high at the moment. Maybe he's going to do a carrier break to landing. Not ready to land yet, Sean? Not yet? Okay, good. We got plenty of time to see this. Again, Ed Heinemann created the Skyhawk at less than 1/2 the weight allowed by the contract. Another nickname for this airplane was the Bantam Bomber. Carrier configuration pass. Look at the tail hook. I made a remark earlier about how all aircraft aircraft had wings that would fold up, or in some cases fold back. Not this one. This one was so small they didn't need to have the wings fold up, which no doubt helped in reducing the overall weight of the aircraft, because the wing folding mechanisms of other aircraft had to be extremely strong and added a significant amount of weight to the airplane. So good was this design that from 2 years, it only took 2 years from Steve Kirik, the pilot, as I told you, has accumulated over 14,500 hours of flight time, and he is no stranger to high-performance jet aircraft. He's a former F-15 pilot from the 71st Fighter Squadron at Langley Air Force Base. High and straight behind you, coming in overhead, the A-4 Skyhawk. Oh, it's so great to see that. There are only a handful of these flying today, and what is incredible is that these are flown as civilian aircraft under the experimental category, and they are not funded by the military. So volunteers work on them, volunteers fly them, and lots goes on to make sure that these fly as living history for all time. Ladies and gentlemen, would you give a nice round of applause to Steve Kirik and the Douglas A-4 Skyhawk. We're going to get the Skyhawk on the ground here in just a moment, and then we'll be launching the FA-18 Super Hornet as we continue our discussion today. The Super Hornet is the Hornet's new Sting, and that'll be coming up in just a couple of seconds. Thanks to FedEx. Something this good deserves to be congratulated, and that's what FedEx wants to do for the folks here at NAS Oceana, celebrating the 100th anniversary of Naval Aviation. Thanks to Freedom Furniture in Norfolk and Newport News, offering up to $7,500 to military and government employees. Pennzoil, Shell. Here's the pursuit of Pennzoil. The synthetic motor oil so advanced it's used in some of the world's top performing vehicles.